lovelies. Welcome to my channel, The Silver Sage. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. And if you're returning, welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about permanent parts. I know I look crazy, and that's okay, the things we do for our natural hair. This is my hair in its permanent parts sections, which I just recently had to redraw. And so I wanted to come on camera and just kind of show the end result because this took actually a long time. And my hair is already in twists because I already styled it in the permanent parts. And I just wanted to talk about this particular hair care technique, method, whatever you want to call it. It's something that I just discovered not too long ago. I had not really been on the internet about natural hair and what's new in a long time. So if I'm old and getting to it late, no problem, because I'm sure there are plenty of people who have questions, who are new to natural hair. And so I wanted to just share my experience. And if you've been watching some of my videos, you probably heard me refer to my permanent parts. And that air quotes is very much intentional. We'll get into that in a minute. But I just wanted to get a little bit deeper into what permanent parts are, why they're useful, why I'm using permanent parts, the pros and the cons. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So what are permanent parts? Permanent parts are just sections of hair that you part and put together, that you style your hair in those sections, you keep it separated in those sections. When you put it up, you make sure that those sections are still intact. And so it's really properly termed like permanent sections, but they call it permanent parts. Listen, I don't make the rules. I just report the news. So anyway, the permanent parts refers to just the places where the hair is sectioned off. And so one of the big issues for me in trying to employ this technique was that I don't make straight parts. I'm very bad at it. I tried to make parts for my oldest kid, and they were like, yeah, Mom, this is not your gift. However, there is a solution, and it is called the Braid Aid. I know if you've seen any of my videos, you've seen me use it, you've seen me talk about it. I have it here, and it is wonderful. It is game changing. It goes on your finger, but sometimes I just like use it like a pencil almost. That's why you'll hear me talk about drawing my permanent parts. I feel like I'm like, doing that. But this little baby is so great for not only putting in your permanent parts, but also when you're sectioning your hair, when you're braiding it up, twisting it. My twist game is so much more elevated now with this tool. This deserves its own video. I will probably give it its own video, but right now we're talking about permanent parts. So that's basically it. It's just sections that you keep your hair in, but with permanent parts, you keep your hair in those sections for everything. So washing, styling, conditioning, it's always in these sections. And yes, people who use permanent parts do switch up the parts periodically, months, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year. So it is a very, very long period of time. So the permanent is a bit of a misnomer. And in my case, being a fine-haired, gray, thinning, older natural, the permanency of the parts is very much in question because they get a little compromised as the hair just kind of shifts over. When you have fine hair, it's very hard to keep it in twists. People with tighter hair textures seem to have a much better time keeping their twists neat and in place. Fine hair just kind of slips out and looks crazy. And the same thing happens when it comes to the parts. So I have had to redraw these permanent parts at least 3 times within the last 6 to 8 weeks. And it's a learning curve. I'm new at this. I'm not an old pro, but the reason that I think these are useful is because it keeps your hair care routine extremely organized, and that is the number one thing. When I went natural, I struggled a lot with tangling. It took me a long time. I fought putting my hair in sections, but eventually I had to give up the ghost and just go ahead and at least section my hair. But it certainly wasn't anything as definitive or organized as permanent parts. It'd just be kind of like, I'm going to take this half of my hair and stick a clip in it and claw clip over here. So it wasn't really all that organized. But now this is extremely organized. I do try to keep the sections when I put it up at night. I'm not super consistent about that, which might be why I have so much part creep. But technically speaking, when I'm really on my game, I pineapple my hair even when it's in twists. And I will just put these little mini scrunchies in for the permanent parts and then pull the rest of the hair up so that I can keep there from being too much friction on the ends of my hair. That's permanent parts. And yes, as I said before, I wash my hair in twists, not in these little mini twists. I do double strand twists in each permanent part section. But I wash my hair in the twist, I condition my hair in the twist. The only time I take those twists out is to detangle, and sometimes that detangle is only in the pre-poo section. It just depends. You'll see in my videos, it varies. But for the most part, it stays in those twists, it stays in these permanent part sections, and it makes styling my hair infinitely easier. So, talking about pros and cons, the big pro is the level of organization that permanent parts provide for washing and styling your hair. It also cuts down significantly on tangling. I have very tangle prone hair, especially this little section in the back that I like to call Sheena. The rest of my hair I call Frizzelle because the rest of my hair is very, very frizz prone and just, it needs a lot. The nape of my neck in the back is very, very smooth, silky, fine, but it mats and it won't stay twisted to save its life. It's a completely different thing happening there. And so with my hair, it's really been a journey to just discover what different parts of my hair need in the hair care routine. And that's been a big, big kind of revelation using permanent parts is that I can see the different growth patterns in my hair. I have different densities all throughout my hair. That's why when I turn around and show you the back, it looks crazy because my hair is less dense in the back. And so, it's just different directions and everything else. As I'm making the permanent parts, I'm also seeing where it doesn't make sense for me to put this section together because there's a big separation where the hair is not as thick. This section is like 3 times more dense than the one on the other side. And so I've really gotten to know Frizzelle mostly and also Sheena a lot better as a result of using the permanent parts. And listen, I don't know if this is a chicken or the egg thing, but the people that I see on the internet using permanent parts have very thick, very long length retention, fullness in the hair. And I'm just kind of like, maybe they need permanent parts because they have such thick, long hair, or maybe this technique really lends itself to length retention and maintaining volume. I don't know, but I'm certainly game to try, as you can see. And I think that I'm getting good results. I have not done a length check. I have some damage in my hair and at the ends. So I'm kind of like in a little bit of denial about addressing that. I will have to address it, and then we will really begin the length check journey in earnest. But right now, I'm really just focusing on finding the right products, the right techniques, still kind of exploring those things. And so that's really what you're seeing in the videos, me trying out different products and really paying attention, more attention and better attention to the needs of my hair. Now, cons on permanent parts. I don't have that many, but yes, it takes more time. And yes, you may have to go back and reestablish the permanent parts, which is a little annoying. You know, you put all the time in to get them established. They're very sharp, they're very neat, everything looks good. And then over time, it just kind of unravels. And like I said, it could just be my hair type, it could be my hair texture. I think some people have a lot more success at it, and I really would recommend trying it, but it does take a bit, and I think you really have to establish the permanent part sections first, and then you'll start to see that the hair just kind of naturally separates into these sections. There's a really good video. I cannot remember. I think her name is, oh crap, I can't remember. I'll put the name in when I go back and figure it out. But she's really popular, very long hair, natural, and the sections she puts her hair in, you know, you can see she just pulls it up and it's already in that section. So I'm on that journey. It happens in a couple of places. It's really cool when it does. Maybe I'll try to capture that on camera. But right now, again, I'm only 6 to 8 weeks into this exploration. So we'll have to see how it goes. But I really like it a lot. It is a lot to monitor to make sure you keep your hair in the permanent parts. And again, you know, you kind of have to do things differently because you're used to your hair being a monolith and now it's not. But small price to pay for good hair care, I say. And I do feel that the styling process, the washing process, everything goes so much quicker. I'm losing a lot less hair, at least a lot less hair is ending up in the drain instead of, you know, just being combed out. So definitely give it a try if you are looking for a way to have more length retention, to have less manipulation of your hair. I think it's a really great way to keep your hair from tangling. And it's just what I'm doing right now. I'll let you know if I'm like, yeah, that permanent parts thing didn't work out. But so far, so good. Please leave any questions you have in the comments, or if you want to share your own personal experience with permanent parts. I'm very happy to answer any questions. I definitely want to hear from you all. So please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.